Tonight, in a town without women, some lives get turned upside down. Some get put on the spot.
I'm joined in the studio by Doug Griffiths, our MLA for the area.
Maybe somebody will have to watch him outside.
And some just take it all in stride.
Giving him a cow pedicure.
Just a couple of small-town country folk from Alberta, doing what we do best.
Take one prairie town. Take out all the women. And leave the men to manage without them. No! How will they cope? You'll find out on The Week the Women Went. In previous episodes, resident politician Doug Griffiths was elected mayor of Men's Night until his 1-year-old son, Austin, spoiled the ballot.
You're so tired.
Taking care of his teenage boys on his own for the first time, oil patch worker Kevin Clarkson was bracing for trouble.
And the deal was you're supposed to be home between 2 and 2:30, not 4:45 or 4:30.
I don't even know what time it is right now, so.
And groom-to-be Todd Moody was losing faith in his wedding planners.
It says these are our choices. Cherry Cha-Cha.
Leaving him with no choice but a desperate Hail Mary.
I'm marrying her on Sunday.
What?
And I need you to help me keep it quiet.
Like, make sure she does not find out.
Are you for real?
With only 2 days before their women return, the men of Hardisty have gone from rough and tumble.
Mom will be gone. They won't even notice her for the first 2 days.
We know how to cook and clean and wash and all that stuff.
To soft and humble.
Probably my highest ambition is to do something that makes sure that my son's proud of me. And that's it.
I was given the opportunity to spend time with my son.
Daughter?
And that in itself is, you can't take that back. I felt like I was a kid again.
At the start of the week, most of them figured life without women would be a snap.
There's 2 people to look at.
Hey, you gotta go outside and eat it, though.
2 people.
No, out. Other way, dude.
Round or 5. How hard is
House.
Hey, outside. No.
Cheryl, please.
5 days later, their attitudes are starting to change.
My little girl just pissed on me.
The guys aren't used to juggling their kids and their careers all the time.
It's not a very good mark, is it, Austin? You don't like those?
Without women to take care of the domestic chores, the men are finally wearing down.
Yeah, I'm getting exhausted.
I'm tireder than I thought I was gonna be, but.
I don't think I could survive without them for more than 1 week, though.
As the price of oil soars to historic highs, Hardisty's future looks brighter than ever. Oil directly employs about 60% of the people here.
So if it wasn't for the oil culture, Hardisty wouldn't be here. I don't know too many people that don't have a connection to the oil field somehow.
The jobs pay well and times are good.
Let's be honest, the dollars are pretty good. When you're working for an oil company, you're making a pretty fair dollar.
Yeah, I make really decent money in the oil field and that.
But while oil makes the men great providers for their families, it doesn't always make them great family men. The work often keeps them away from home for weeks and sometimes months on end.
He always works away from home.
Who wants me there today?
So I might have to leave right now.
Not a family life. You don't have a family life. You're always away from home.
Some days he's home by 2, and some days he gets home at 11, sleeps for 2 hours, and goes again.
A 9 to 5, an 8-hour job for a man in Hardisty, unless they're semi-retired, doesn't hardly exist.
This is our life. When you gotta work, you gotta work. Can't live off love.
With the women away for a week, the men are taking a hard look at the impact their oil patch jobs are having on their families. And for some of them, the reality is proving to be a big eye-opener. For Kevin Clarkson, family is everything. But it wasn't always that way. Years working on drilling rigs turned him into an absent father. There's a long span of his children's lives he has no memory of.
It means a lot to watch my kids and their sports. I missed a lot of them growing up.
But without his wife around, this is going to be one week he'd rather forget.
What's up?
Kevin and his wife Heather were high school sweethearts and have been married 16 years. They have 2 teenage sons, Curtis and Cody.
I missed pretty much the first, I guess it'd be 12 years of Curtis's life, 11 years of Cody's life. Heather raised the kids by herself.
For me and Curtis and Dad, it's gonna be kind of hard without Mom here because she does a lot of stuff for us.
She works hard at home and at work, and that's just her. She's the foundation of this whole family.
3 years ago, Kevin decided he had to spend more time at home. So he took an office job at an oil company in Hardisty and never looked back. Until today. This morning, rumors started flying through town that Kevin's company may be selling off its distribution division.
I think the company I work for is being sold tomorrow, so. Yeah.
Layoffs are a distinct possibility. And Kevin feels his job is at risk.
Come tomorrow at noon, that might be my last paycheck for this company. Now what do you do? Big meeting tomorrow. All the executives out of Calgary are coming to tell us what's happening.
He's still mired in debt from his last stint of unemployment. So he'll have to act quickly if he's let go.
I'm not willing to take the chance to lose everything. We've lost everything once, and we're not going to lose it again.
Most likely. That means either relocating the family to another town or going back to work as a driller in the oil patch.
If we're sold, well, I'll take a job in Rainbow Lake if I have to.
Where's that?
Away from home.
In Canmore, Kevin's wife Heather is blissfully unaware of the problems back home.
That's my first swing of the year. Woohoo! She's played before. It's gonna be a good first year.
This is her first vacation in almost 10 years.
I was excited, really excited. Just because it's for a break, right?
Like a lot of Hardisty couples, Heather and Kevin started their family early.
She was pretty young. I mean, she missed a lot of her teen years because we had Curtis at a young age.
Kevin doesn't want to spoil her getaway by burdening her with his anxiety about his job. But holding it all in for the rest of the week may be more than he can handle. On Main Street, town manager Tony Kulbiski is trying to hold it together too. He's in charge of keeping the community projects on track. 1 gazebo, 3 mini parks, and hundreds of flower planters are all supposed to be finished in time for the women's arrival. But the work isn't even half done yet, mostly due to labor issues.
It's unfortunate because I know not everybody that's signed up or said that they were going to show up, showed up.
I haven't worked on it once. I've been entirely too busy.
There's people that are driving around that maybe didn't participate at all in the project.
Well, I've gone by there a few times. There was always lots of people working on the project, so I never felt that it was a huge thing.
It's their loss, really. It's their loss, and there's no other way to explain it except that it's their loss.
Now, the lion's share of the work is being done by only a few good men. Men like Jim Yiskew. Jim's a can-do guy. His approach to every problem is always the same.
You gotta make it work.
In Hardisty, Jim's impassioned approach to life is legendary.
Well, he's a different cat, I guess. I don't know, he's a philosopher, I guess you'd say.
But now, as he arrives to pick up the materials for the gazebo project, wise man Yuskew is facing a major conundrum.
I discovered that the packages that we were to haul in the trailer were wider than the trailer. Decided that we could make it work.
Jim's can-do attitude is infectious.
Straighten yourself out!
But there's a fine line separating improvisation and insanity.
It's a little bit of a precarious load. It loaded all right. It's sitting up awful high, though.
It'll be a miracle if he makes it all 50 kilometers back to town without an accident.
We had to make it work.
But like they say, You gotta be good to be lucky.
It's gonna be a slow trip home.
Hello.
One dad bails out on his kids,
All right with the juniors?
I can take your kids, yes.
leaving another
Hey, Abby, don't watch your plate right there.
to pick up the pieces. The oil patch widow is an all too common figure in Hardisty.
A lot of the oil men are away working for months at a time, and it's very hard on the children. Very hard.
Who wants me there today?
So I might have to leave right now.
Jobs in the oil fields often keep husbands and fathers away from home for weeks and even months at a time.
I think the oil field is very hard on families.
The wages are good, but money doesn't tuck the kids into bed.
When you gotta work, you gotta work. When you can't live off love. Gotta pay bills.
The price of oil may be high these days, but the women of Hardisty know how much it really costs. And while they're away this week, the men are getting a chance to make up for lost time. In some cases, oil is thicker than blood. In Hardisty, no family knows the truth of that like the Hayes. The Hayes are a Battle River dynasty, the proud owners of 4,000 acres of prime ranch land on the outskirts of town. The patriarch of the family is Henry Hayes.
My grandfather started it. My father took over. I took over from him.
He and his wife Maureen have 3 grown children, but it's in the lives of their 2 sons, David and Darren, that oil has played a defining and dividing role. David Hayes is the younger of the 2 brothers. He and his wife, Bobby Jo, have 4 children. 2 girls, Kenzie and Amy Jo, and 2 boys, Blair and Blake. David took up the ranching life and works alongside his father every day. Being a farmer gives him a big advantage over a lot of the other men in town this week.
Hold still.
Because even when he's working, he's always at home.
It's all right.
With my lifestyle of being a farmer, have the opportunity to be around my children all the time, and I've never gone away working for weeks on end. Okay, girls, let's go get some cows in.
Last week we went to Edmonton and somebody said to Kenzie, "You didn't have to go to daycare today. Isn't that great?" And Kenzie's looking at him like, "What's daycare?"
How's your freezies going, girls?
Good. So I explained to the lady, I said, "We live in the country. My husband's a farmer, rancher. My kids don't know what daycare is."
It was Dad's dream for one of his kids to take over, and it's my dream for one of my boys to take over. And
This way.
the women don't like it, but when you come out of the delivery room with your first son, you know that you're part of the way there to having another farmer, and we got 2 of them.
Henry Hayes thought he had 2 future farmers as well. But his oldest son, Darren, didn't see it that way. Darren left the family farm when he was just 16. A born rebel, he took a job in the oil patch.
Pretty much always a troublemaker, I guess. Not that I meant to be, but it was entertaining.
His decision disappointed his father.
If cash in your hand is the most important thing to you, probably the oil fields where you should belong.
Hey.
And created a deep divide between himself and the family that's never been healed.
Him and his brother don't really have much of a relationship.
We just don't talk very often. I hardly ever see him.
I was talking to another lady yesterday and she's like, "I thought they were cousins for the longest time. I didn't know they were even brothers."
Despite his father's disapproval, or maybe because of it, Darren's made his own fortune. He now runs his own business in the oil field.
What we do is go in, take a drilling rig apart, move it to a new location, put it back together.
Hello. Business is so good these days that Darren almost never stops working.
Darren's a workaholic.
I don't even know what I'd do if I had a 9-to-5 job. I'd be bored stiff.
But unfortunately, Darren's success in the oil business is coming at the expense of his family. Darren and his wife Tracy have 2 kids, 11-year-old Kaylin and 4-year-old Colby. But Darren's away working so much that he hardly ever sees him.
He hasn't had the father duties. He's a man that's gone from home all the time.
I try to be a father figure as much as I can, but it sometimes isn't quite that easy. That's me being gone all the time.
I'm not going to bed.
You'll go to bed when I tell you to go to bed, whether you like it or not.
Now, his relationship with daughter Kaylin is beginning to suffer.
I always told him that you're afraid of her growing up. He will not let her play with makeup. He thinks if little girls play with makeup, they're going to be little hoochies when they grow up, and they're not. They're girls. They want to be beautiful.
His bond with 4-year-old son Colby isn't much better.
Sit down.
That's Sissy.
I don't care whose it is. I've had about enough of it.
Darren's challenge this week is to start saying no to his work.
Yeah, I got 4 hours to get that crane out there in that other bed, so hopefully he gives me lots of notice.
And yes to his kids. But just as he's about to take a rare day off and go boating with his children,
hello,
he takes a call for work. Now he's pawning his kids off on friend and neighbor Todd Moody.
All right with the juniors?
I can take your kids, yes.
From Tracy's point of view, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Todd's one of Hardisty's resident super dads.
With Todd there, they'll be okay. Todd will look after it. Todd's a great dad. I'm not saying Darren's not. Darren is a good dad too, but Todd does lots with his kids.
I better get on the road.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
But it means Darren's once again missing out on valuable time with his children.
Right about 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll be back.
For Darren's kids, a week without their mom is turning into a week without their dad as well. Darren's loss is Todd's gain.
What was I forgetting?
Well, sorta. Todd and his girlfriend Leah Rogers have 3 children: Courtney, Tatum, and Avon. After 10 years, Todd's finally decided to marry Leah the day after the women get back from Canmore. Throughout the week, Todd's been trying to keep the wedding a secret, but gossip is spreading.
Tatum already told me.
What does Tatum know? Tatum, come here.
Some people in Hardisty are talking about it.
And he's nervous that word will eventually make it to Canmore.
Hopefully they're not opening their big mouths.
It's all he can do to make sure his kids don't spill the beans.
Gotta surprise your mom with this. We can't let anybody know. Okay, that's between us 3.
Okay.
Because if your mom finds out, it's not gonna be a very big surprise, is it?
There's still a million details to work out before the ceremony on Sunday.
I'm phoning you with a late invitation.
But with Darren gone, leaving Todd to look after all the kids,
No need to start. That goes for all of you. Stay here.
he won't be getting to any more wedding plans today.
Okay, hold on for a sec, Buff. Hey, Abby, don't watch your plate right there. I want your dad too. No more hitting. All of you, no more hitting.
Another man in Hardisty is having his own childcare nightmare.
No!
Doug Griffiths is the local MLA. He and his wife Sue had their first child, Austin, just over a year ago. And Austin's not crazy about his mom being away.
Mom.
Yeah, I know. Everything's mom.
His mom's not crazy about it either.
It's hard. It's really hard. To me, it's not a vacation without my family.
And I talked to Sue today.
Hi, babe. How are you? And then just hearing my son, he just kept going, Mama, Mama, Mama. Oh, Mama, Mama.
She cried quite a bit. She was quite homesick.
Oh, I miss you guys so much. A few more days. We can do it.
Being a politician, Doug likes to be out among the people. But Austin's been so fussy day and night that Doug hasn't had more than a few hours sleep all week.
I'm running out of steam. I'm tired.
And he's been housebound now for 5 days.
Again, I don't think I'm going to be able to go anywhere because I haven't had any sleep. I'm supposed to update my website. I'm supposed to go work on the projects, return constituency phone calls. I miss you. I can't wait till you come back.
Todd Moody's not getting much sleep this week either.
Okay, watch out. The dog peed on your floor.
After playing daddy daycare all day long, he just wants to flake out in front of the TV.
Come here.
But a mother's work is never done.
You think it looks hard, but I mean, Leah does this every day. I don't know. She does a lot of work. I'm starting to realize how much she does. She makes it look so easy, too. What, you want a drink? It's a lot easier when she's here. Hey, have it. If you don't have this, you're not having nothing. I'm, you know, just a lot easier when she's here. I miss her a lot.
Some mistakes can be fixed.
Yeah, that's Heather's domain right there, and as you can see, I kind of killed the peppers in the tomato plants.
Others need a miracle.
Killed the cat, too. Cat's dead.
Oil patch fathers don't often get a lot of bonding time with their kids. Their jobs take them far from home for weeks and sometimes months on end.
They come home and they're tired, they don't want to do anything, and they sit on the couch and do nothing.
The money's good.
Yeah, I make really decent money in the oil field and that.
But the families end up paying a heavy tax.
He's a man that's gone from home all the time.
I try to be a father figure as much as I can, but sometimes it isn't quite that easy. It's me being gone all the time.
With the women away for a week, the men are experiencing what life is like when there's only one caregiver to do all the work.
Okay, hold on for a sec, bud. Yeah, watch your plate right there.
There are good fathers and there are great fathers. And then there's Jay Jazowski. Jay and his wife Nicole have 3 kids, a 2-year-old son and 2 11-month-old twin girls.
I vaguely remember what it was like before kids. I think back now and wonder what the heck we did with all our time. We probably could have done so much more.
As an oil field technician, Jay works 12-hour shifts, 10 days in a row. He's as busy as any man in Hardisty.
No.
But he still manages to put his family and his community first. While other fathers in town are missing in action on the community projects, Jay's doing the work of 3 men with 3 kids in tow.
If I can get out even for an hour, if the kids are good, that's fine. I'll do it.
When he isn't working on Main Street, he's taking on an even more daunting task.
Pats down.
Getting his 2-year-old boy, Gavin, potty trained.
Gavin, did you go pee on the potty? How many times did you go pee on the potty today?
3.
2 times.
3.
2 times.
2 times.
Very rewarding.
Did we mention he's also a volunteer firefighter? The captain, no less?
I usually have 2 or 3 firefighters to oversee or to look after.
And if all that's not enough, he's somehow finding time this week to continue his wife's entries in a book of firsts for their children.
Hallie yesterday said up for the first time. Up. And I think she knows what it means. She'll repeat it, like when you pick her up off the change table, you say up, and she says up. Up, up. I still have to give a lot of the credit to Nicole. This is all mostly Nicole's writing. I don't get too much time to write in it. Maybe once a month, I'll make an entry.
If she wasn't so good at what she did, it would make it very difficult for me this week, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Back on Main Street, Hardisty's other Superman, Jim Yisku, is returning from the lumberyard. The fact he made it 50 kilometers down the highway with such a tippy load is a minor miracle.
Mission accomplished.
Now all he has to do is figure out how to put all 600 pieces of his gazebo together.
I don't see any paperwork in this one.
If only he can find the instructions.
It seems like every day that we walk into this project, there's some curveball that hits us.
A how-to video turns up in one of the piles.
Oh, you did find a DVD? Oh, right on.
Unfortunately, it's called How to Build a Shed.
Okay, that doesn't apply to us.
Undaunted, Jim and his crew vow to push on.
Just a couple of small-town country folk from Alberta, doing what we do best.
While Heather Clarkson unwinds in Canmore, back in Hardisty, her husband Kevin is beginning to look like the inspiration for a bad country song. He just found out he's in danger of losing his job at a local oil company.
I think the company I work for is being sold tomorrow, so yeah. Come tomorrow at noon, that might be my last paycheck for this company. Now what do you do? And that's the scary part.
But that's just the opening verse.
Yeah, that's Heather's domain right there, and as you can see, I kind of killed the peppers in the tomato plants. I did wreck a pair of her socks. Red shirts and white don't mix. I found that out in the laundry.
And if all that weren't depressing enough...
Killed the cat, too. Cat's dead. Went to water the plants last night. There was the cat floating in the rain barrel, drowned, so just a kitten. Just got it a couple weeks ago. But her dog's alive, so she'll be happy about her dog being alive.
The Clarksons are struggling under a heavy load of debt. If Kevin loses his job tomorrow, he'll have to get another one quickly, which will probably mean moving his family to another town.
So anyhow, Code, would you mind moving to a town like Lloydminster? It's just something that I don't even want to think about it. It breaks my heart to think that I would expect my kids and my wife to pack up and... Would you do that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good. I'm glad that Heather's not here to worry about it until, I find out tomorrow. And then...
Hopefully we won't have to, but...
No, hopefully not. If it's bad news, well, then I will get a hold of her. Well, no, I won't. I'll wait till she's home, but I don't know what to do in that circumstance. Don't want to wreck her holiday, but she might be pretty pissed with me if I don't tell her, so who knows.
He's doing his best to keep his anxiety to himself, but Heather's been his best friend since they were teenagers. He's used to sharing everything with her. Now, with Heather gone, he's worrying himself into an emotional tailspin.
You try and downplay it, but in the back of your mind, it just eats and eats and eats and eats. It just, something's coming. It could be detrimental, Cody. Like, I don't want to bother your mother on her relaxing week, but it might be. So, that's all right.
In Canmore, Kevin's wife, Heather, is making her first phone call home this week. There's nothing Kevin would like more than to talk to her. And that's why he's just gonna let it ring.
Hello, it's me. Guess you're not home, so I guess I'll phone tomorrow night. Talk to you later. Bye. Not home. They're probably not missing me. Yet. Yeah.
The women may be taking it easy,
It's not so tough when you're laying here relaxing.
but they're not the only ones getting pampered.
Giving them a cow pedicure.
with only 2 days to go before their women get back from a retreat in the Rockies, the men of Hardisty have their work cut out for them. The clock is ticking down on their community projects, and that's a problem. Too many guys are using this week as an opportunity to slack off instead of pitch in.
It's unfortunate because I know not everybody that's, signed up or said that they were going to show up.
On the domestic front, some dads are taking care of business.
Gavin, how many times did you go pee on the potty today?
3.
2 times.
3.
Others are putting their jobs ahead of their kids.
All right with the juniors? I can take your kids, yes.
Leaving their friends and neighbors to pick up the slack.
No more hitting, all of you, no more hitting.
It's dinner time in Hardisty. Without women around to fuss over the menu, the men are keeping it simple. Sticking with the 3 primary food groups. For the uninitiated, that would be meat, meat, and meat. For workaholic Darren Hayes, loading up on the grill is one of the rare occasions when he makes time for friends and family. This evening, he's cooking for his 2 kids, his buddy Todd Moody's family, and a few friends from the neighborhood.
Go ahead, Danny.
But Darren's other love, work, is also vying for his attention. And he's powerless to resist. Just as dinner's being served, Darren decides to head off into the oil fields to supervise another rigging project.
Kids tomorrow or sometime tomorrow. All right. Go back.
Leaving his father-in-law to babysit the children.
I'll be awake all night.
Like they say, oil never sleeps. And neither does Darren.
Have a good night, guys.
Yeah, see you.
Meanwhile, back on the ranch, Darren's brother David is using this week to get even closer with his kids.
Hold on, isn't it?
Right now, David's showing his girls the real meaning of the term animal husbandry.
Giving them a cow pedicure. It's called a hoof trim and shoot. No, it just holds them and tips them up, and we don't get kicked and they don't get hurt at all. Trimming the feet. Their feet are really long, so they're trimming them just like when we trim your fingernails.
For something like this, probably looking around $70 a head for doing the hoof trimming.
It's a lot cheaper than a pedicure at the Banff Springs Hotel. Bobby Joe's there right now, probably getting one, and we're giving pedicures to cows.
I miss David. It's a little hard, but I'll be okay. I'll tough it out. It's not so tough when you're laying here relaxing.
It's 2 in the morning, and Darren is returning home from the oil field. For the first time, he admits this social experiment is making him reconsider whether his workaholic hours are really worth it.
Well, trucking's all right. It's just, you miss, for me, I miss so much of life with them. Well, the hockey games, the birthdays.
He's even considering doing something that used to be unthinkable for him.
One time, I wouldn't mind going back to the farm. But who knows if that'll ever happen.
After being estranged from his father for so many years, patching things up won't be easy.
I guess as kids, you're always trying to impress your parents.
Some of us still might be. I don't know.
What time did Dad get home?
3 this morning. You're supposed to be doing this, not me.
Last night, Darren's father-in-law stayed over and took care of the kids. But now Grandpa's patience is wearing thin.
They're waiting for you.
It's 8 a.m., a school morning, and Darren finally makes it out of bed. He starts making breakfast for daughter Kaylin. But before he can take time to talk with her, he's taking yet another call for work.
You betcha, yeah. I'll get on it right now.
Those closest to Darren can see the toll his lifestyle is taking on him and his family. Kaylin leaves for school without so much as a second glance from her dad.
That's a probably more than yard, eh?
Even Darren seems to know he's running out of gas. The only question now is, how long before he's running on empty?
You're too tall.
Across town, local politician Doug Griffiths is gearing up for a big afternoon. The social experiment in Hardisty has people in surrounding towns curious. So Doug's preparing to go to Wainwright, half an hour away,
Oh, I missed.
to give an update on a local radio station. He's taking his one-year-old boy Austin with him. Pretty ambitious for a guy who's been having such a hard time on his own that he hasn't even made it out of the house in 5 days.
With all the women gone, it's hard to find someone to look after him. So I'm going to keep him and take him with me on the radio show. I think it'll enhance the radio show anyway when people are phoning in or we're doing the interview and Austin's right there.
Well, that's one way of looking at it.
Key 83, the Midwest Country Giant. Good afternoon. Hopefully you're all having a great Thursday afternoon, and we got something special happening here. I'm joined in the studio by Doug Griffiths, our MLA for the area, and another little special guest because the women have left Hardisty.
That's right.
How are you doing so far?
If you asked me yesterday, I thought it was 40 days. Austin didn't sleep Sunday or Monday night very well. I think I had 4 hours of sleep those first 2 nights. Some of the men who didn't appreciate exactly how much had to be done at home realize it's 2 or 3 or 4 full-time jobs. But when you add my jobs to it, it's pretty strenuous and it's hard to keep up, and especially when he's grumpy like this. And so it's been pretty good. He's trying to compete with me, he always does. Maybe somebody will have to watch him outside.
Back in Hardisty, the community projects are finally starting to look half done. Trouble is, they only have a couple of days to finish the other half. The odds for completing on time would be even slimmer if it weren't for the fact that one of Hardisty's most skilled workers has finally had a change of heart.
It was my first day here. I haven't had time. I've been busy at work, so I'm not sure who's all been down here. I know there's some guys that have done a lot of work.
Nothing like pitching in for your town and bonding with your son at the same time.
It's the only way to look after him, otherwise he runs all over the street. We'll get her done, hopefully.
But Darren's not done multitasking yet. Over at one of the mini parks, he's even finding a way to make time for his daughter, Kaylin.
Here's my dad.
I'll give her something to do other than sit in front of the TV all week. And she's carrying bricks and walking the gravel down.
Darren's workaholic ways will be tough to overcome, but there's no doubting the fact he wants to change. He may have even found a way to impress his own father.
That's my oldest son driving the Bobcat.
As one man prays to keep his job, another would do anything for a vacation.
I'm whipped. I feel beat.
Even under the most ideal circumstances, raising a family these days isn't easy. And for a lot of families, life in the oil patch adds an extra degree of difficulty.
They don't get to hang out just with Daddy. I don't even know if he's had them a whole day.
The jobs pay well, but they demand long hours.
He's a man that's gone from home all the time.
He'll be awake all night.
And total commitment.
Oil, that's what drives our lives. There's an urgency about it.
That urgency may get the oil out of the ground, but it uproots a lot of families along with it. Kevin Clarkson knows that all too well. He's been chasing jobs all over the oil patch for most of his working life. In Hardisty, he and his family thought they'd finally found their Shangri-La. But yesterday, rumors started circulating that his company might be cutting jobs, Kevin's included.
If I was 19 and didn't have a family, I wouldn't really care. But I mean, we got payments.
Later on today, at a company meeting, he'll learn his fate. Normally, he'd be talking through his anxiety with his wife, Heather. He doesn't want to spoil her vacation with his worries. But holding it all in isn't easy. So he's heading to a familiar setting. Heather's work, a place that reminds him of her. In a gesture of support you might only see in a small town, Heather's boss, Ernie Ziegler, cuts his day short to give Kevin someone to talk to.
Now, when I got nobody at home, it's lonely. I was talking to the dog even today. Right.
Getting lonely.
Getting lonely, yeah. Yep. That's right. Yes. Oh, well.
A couple hours later, Kevin's back home from his company meeting. His bosses said no one will lose their jobs right away, but they also told their employees to seriously consider any other jobs they may be offered. Fortunately, Kevin's already got one on the hook. Just a half-hour drive from Hardisty.
Company out of Irma, which is just north here. Looking for, I guess, somebody to come in and supervise their crews and stuff, and sounds pretty good. So I was, you know, waiting for Heather to get home before I make any hasty decisions, stuff like that. I mean, we've been together too long. It's got to make them decisions together. So, I mean, if it was last night's girlfriend, it's not a big deal, but after being together for, well, 19 years, married for 16, it's something you want to make together, so.
A few days ago, Kevin was singing a pretty sad song.
Killed the cat. Cat's dead. I did wreck a pair of her socks. Red shirts and white don't mix. I found that out in the laundry. And as you can see, I kind of killed the peppers in the tomato plants.
But he's come through all right. And so has Heather's garden.
It was nothing 40 bucks couldn't cover. Just go to the greenhouse and buy some new ones and make it look good, right? So.
Now, he just has to keep it together till she gets back.
We're all missing her, and I think she's probably missing us. She better be anyhow, so. I tell you, I'll wash every piece of laundry for her and wreck it all. No, just kidding, so.
On Main Street, the labor shortage that had been hobbling the community project seems to be resolved. Even the politician is getting his hands dirty.
Good boy. Hey, that's garbage. No! Get that out of your mouth. Man, kids put everything in their mouths except food when Dad's trying to feed you. That's garbage.
And can-do Jim Yiskew is managing to get the town's gazebo built without the instructions.
As you can see, we're just winging it. It's just another day in the office in beautiful downtown Hardisty. Population 700, minus 135 odd women. And we're having a blast.
But by the end of the day, even Jim concedes they're not out of the woods yet.
I'm whipped. I feel beat. And I'll be glad when it's over.
Coming soon, on the week the women went.
We're a little bit behind the 8 ball here.
I'm going home to do my domestic duties.
I didn't realize I was overlooking things. I might have to do some sucking up when she gets home.
If we see a cloud hit the dirt, that's when we gotta get out of here.
I'm getting a little scared. It was a really great week, but yeah, I'm ready.
Can't wait till the week the men went and didn't come back.